Well, hi, I'm Jeff Strong. I'm creator of the Auditory Brain Stimulation Therapy Rhythmic Entrainment Intervention. I'm also creator of the Healing Arts Entrepreneur Program. In this video, I want to talk about the importance of an email list. And this may sound old school to you. It's new school to me because when I started out, there was no such thing as email. I think I got my first email account in 1994. And we didn't start email marketing until the late 90s. And didn't really start email marketing in a concerted way until 2006. So we built, actually, when we started doing email marketing in 2006, by 2007 we had stopped doing all of our other marketing. And prior to that we were doing direct mail. That's how we started. I started putting little ads in the back of publications. The most successful one for me initially was the Autism Society of America. We put a little notice for a calming recording in there, and we sold thousands and thousands of recordings, cassette tapes back then, for calming, just with this little ad. And then we did direct mail. We did a lot of direct mail. And then we were sending out hundreds of thousands of pieces of mail a year for our provider trainings and our different recordings. And in 2007, we really shifted it all online. I stopped going and doing live trainings for our provider training. I did it online. We set up our email, a real first time hiring an email company, email service provider, to be managing our emails, and started building our list. And that has become the cornerstone of our marketing really since then. And I can't tell you the number of times people have told me over the last 10 years that email marketing is dead. That really it's all going to be social media. You got to get your social media accounts and post all the time, and eventually people will buy. And we were resistant to social media forever. I got my Facebook account, I think, as soon as Facebook opened up to the public, but I didn't do anything with it. And then I set up a page when they started offering that. Didn't do anything with it. And I post now. I have a person who does that, and we're building it up. But for us, it's always been email marketing, and it probably will continue for the foreseeable future. And the reason why is because with email marketing, I have a lot more control over the relationship I have with the person. In other words, when somebody's on my email list, they're on my list. I can work with them directly. When I've got somebody following me on Facebook, I don't really have quite the same ability to market to them. Now with ads, I can do that, but you're paying for the ads. So you got to balance that all out. If you have a really strong social media following, you can get by with doing Facebook ads, but you're still going to be driving them probably to a list. So if you don't have a list right now, get one. If you don't have a website, you can get a list without a website. If you have a website, great. Go get an email service provider, and that would be like MailChimp, Aweber, Constant Contact, any of these companies that are helping you market through email. Set up an account with them, follow the process of setting up an opt-in form on your website, and put people on a list. And then you can start marketing to them. If you don't have a website, go to one of these landing page sites. ClickFunnels is one of them. There's a bunch of places where you can basically set up landing pages and connect it to an email service provider. You still need an email service provider. So you want to go get that first. Go get a landing page, whether it's on your own website or a separate landing page company. Create a landing page for something. Offer something to get their email. Big thing for therapists is like a report, maybe on something that relates to what you offer, or an audio. A lot of therapists do like guided meditations, or some video training that you can show them something. Like if you're a massage therapist, show them some self-massage techniques or something. Get them on your list, give them this thing for free, and then once you get them on the list, you want to be mailing to them. And when we started our mailing, everything was content-driven. We basically started doing case studies. So if somebody got on our list, they got on our list because we gave them a calming demo. That's our big one. And they get the calming demo, and then they get kind of instruction on how to use it, and then they get data to support its use. Usually case studies, larger studies. We switched to video at one point where I kind of describe things in video, go back and forth between video and written case studies or formal studies. What the idea here is to get them to know you so that you can show them your personality and your expertise, and then they can decide if something is something that they want to work with you. But the real key to this is you need to be consistent, and then you need to have an offer. You need to give them an opportunity to buy from you. So whether it is a little video training series leading up to schedule a session with me, or a free report leading up to schedule a session with me, or it's a book that you have that you want to sell, or it's an audio that you want to sell for $10, or if it's a course that you want to sell for $100 or $1,000 or whatever. You want to lead them through a sequence. So when you set up your email account and your opt-in, you want to set up what's called an automation sequence. Now, an automation sequence is basically a series of emails that go out based upon when a person signs up to your list. And that's static for everybody. So when somebody signs up on a particular day, 2 days later they get another email, and maybe 2 days another email, and another email, and then an offer. And no matter when they sign up, they go through that same sequence of those emails. And you always want to have it go from a freebie to some content that you're offering to an offer of something that you're selling to them. Because eventually you're going to need to have them buy. Not everybody's going to, some people will. So the sequence that you offer is dependent on what you're ultimately offering as your thing to buy. So it could be a short sequence. Most my sequences are just a few videos long. For instance, the drum healing course, which is one of my more popular courses, they get a series of 3 free video trainings that are 20-25 minutes each. And then after that, they get an offer to buy the full course. And then a certain percentage of them will buy that. And then they get on an extended sequence of getting regular weekly content, sharing more of who I am and what I have to offer, covering a whole bunch of different areas depending on what sequence they're in. But you want to make sure that you have a sequence that leads to a limited offer and then continued content after that. As a matter of fact, if you download the PDF that is available here, you'll see a flowchart of the basic email sequence that we offer for an offer. And it starts with your basic, what's called an opt-in value sequence and an offer sequence. So somebody opt-ins to your list, you give them a series of content. I do video to train them on something, teach them something, and then offer them ability to buy a more comprehensive course. And then you go through a cart open sequence where you're showing them, you're basically reinforcing the offer that you've given them. And this is a sequence that takes about 2 weeks. Real simple sequence that we found works really universally. The trick is just making a good free video series or free series of whatever you offer, followed by a compelling offer, and then enough explanation and support around that offer to get people to convert. And if you can set this up and get something together, you can now expand your practice to something online. Even if you're just offering a package of your live sessions. So don't think you have to create an online course at this point, or a book, or an audio that you can sell. You can sell your basic therapy, one-on-one in-person therapy, with this offer. So don't think you have to be going through a bunch of hoops. Offer what you already offer now, which is probably your one-on-one service. Maybe give them a package where they can buy 10 sessions for so much money, or 5 sessions, or whatever works. Or something in addition to your regular therapy. But get them in, teach them a little something about who you are, give them good value, ask them to engage with you with a purchase, and then reinforce that through a cart sequence. And then after that, you want to be publishing weekly, some content that helps them get to know you. That's the real way of optimizing your email. So I know a lot of people who set up an email and they'll start building their list, and it slowly builds, and maybe they'll put some money into ads and build their list, but they don't have a sequence they're following that leads to asking somebody to engage with you with a purchase that they could make. It's a small percentage of people who will buy that first offer, but you need to make that offer so that they, number one, in the back of their minds, know that you have this available. They're thinking about you. So every week when you send out your next email, say they didn't buy, right? They went through this 2-week sequence, the cart closed, the offer ended, and then you send them your weekly content with something else relevant to who you are and what you do. They're going to know that you had that offer before. Now you can put a footnote in that says, oh, you can still get this or whatever, depending how you do it. I used to have a sidebar, which always had a product. So we'd have our case study on one side, and in the sidebar we'd have the custom program or BrainShift radio or calming rhythms or something like that. So they could click through really quickly to buy something if they wanted. But we found that the sidebar really wasn't necessary. Send them regular content. What they ended up doing, if they're interested, is they remembered that offer, they liked what they read, they went to the website, and then they sought it out or sought something out. And that's how it works for us. And ultimately, people do engage. So just thinking in terms of really optimizing, not just having somebody get on your list, but giving them a specific sequence so that they get to know you to a specific offer and then a regular sequence. So at this point, make sure you have an opt-in. Make sure you set up an automated sequence that you can offer something with a shopping cart sequence following the flowchart on the download below. And then think in terms of a content calendar. Think in terms of how you can create content regularly. A lot of people will create a content calendar that covers 6 months or a year or something, so that they sketch out 26 or 52 pieces of content that they're going to deliver the next 6 months or a year. Sketch it out so that they can start building that. And then you put them into automated sequences so that when people get on the list, they go through the sequence. So you're not having to worry about putting that content out every week live. And that's really important. If you can set up these automated sequences, get enough content in there to roll people through. Eventually you can throw them into something where you're putting out your live content every week. But at the very least, now you've got a system which allows people to get to know you in a very specific way, leading to a specific offer that you can be working and tweaking. Because you may want to change the content you're offering to the offer. You may want to change the offer to something different and play around with ideas. You might want to put people in different buckets and see what sells better in other, and basically A/B test them. You can do all this with most of the email service providers. We started with Aweber. They're a great company. They did good for us for years. We switched to MailChimp at one point because we wanted to make a change, and there was a reason, the time to do it. And they've kind of grown with us over the years. I think we started with them in 2010. So a lot of what they offer now, they didn't offer when we first started out. So nowadays, like MailChimp, you can get a free account that lets you get up to 2,000 names, and you can put them in an automated sequence. And the great thing about the automated sequence, again, is that once you get this going, it's set up, it automatically puts people through this process that you can then tweak. Because the more people you have through it, you can start doing testing. And that's really going to be the key to it. But definitely check out the flowchart, get an email service provider, get an opt-in form, put together an automated sequence with an offer, and I think you'll notice that you're able to make some more money doing that. You're able to expand your platform. So in the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about your platform in general, ways of being able to utilize social media around this concept, because you can also get your YouTube and your Facebook and your Instagram and Twitter connected to all of this. But in the meantime, set up something. If you don't have a website, get a landing page. If you have a website, get an opt-in form. So thank you for joining me. I will see you in the next video.